This is the Thug Mansion. Call it Thug Mansion. And the view from the top of the crib.
There's a garden down there. Oh my God, this is so crazy. This is beautiful. In San Francisco. This is nuts. Look at this tree. So why don't we get you with the tree behind you so we have a darker background. Wow, this is so beautiful. Okay. So just name and...
My name's RAS. I'm part of a couple different groups. Audio Pharmacy. It's a band, a 5-piece band, and One Struggle, another 5-piece band, both based here in San Francisco. And I play music for a living. That's what I do. And I also work with Snack Magazine, Native Youth Magazine, working with tribes and various people in California, organizations. And, just offer Native youth literacy programs and workshops. And publish a magazine that comes out once a year. And do a radio program as well, KPFA, Native Circle. So that's pretty much my work.
And what's your background?
My background is my mother is Pomo from Kashaya, Dry Creek, and Habida, or Point Arena. In English, they say Point Arena or Dry Creek, and Kashaya. And my father is from African descent, so I'm half African and half Pomo. I call it Afro Pomo.
So let's see, you're working on your different bands and all of the things you just mentioned. Anything in particular you want to talk about?
Anything in particular?
I know we were just...
Well, we could talk about art, we could talk about music, we could talk about pretty much anything you want.
Art, music, and politics.
Yeah.
What do you think's happening in the world?
Man, same thing that's been happening, you know? A bunch of white folks controlling what gets said in the media and what gets taught in the institutions. A bunch of people of color struggling, trying to survive. You know,
so
that's what's going on in the world.
Struggle.
You know, but you know, things are changing. You know, things are changing. You know, things are always in a constant state of evolution, and things are always changing.
What direction would you like to see things go in?
You know, I definitely would like to see, you know, because even though we come from one of the most liberal parts of the world, you know, the Bay Area, or California in general, you know, I feel like a lot of times, you know, that even though everyone claims this is liberal and it's, you know, there's still a lot of racism, there's still a lot of people selling out, you know, people, you know, hiding under a liberal umbrella, but really having different ideals, you know, conservative ideals and ideals that are racist, you know.
And
so
what do you mean by, how would you interpret the word racist?
I think racism deals with ignorance, you know. It deals with just perception of what you think other people are, or what they, you know, what their beliefs are, what, you know, what kind of background they have, what kind of individual histories they have, you know, just an ignorant idea of grouping a whole group of people together who have completely different experiences and completely different upbringing, but just because they look alike, that they all have the same history. What do you
think about Native people's place in America at this time? Or
well, I think indigenous people in general have been overlooked as far as you know, governments, world governments are concerned. Indigenous people have usually been displaced to established governments, especially here in North and South America, Central America. A lot of the indigenous peoples of these areas, particularly in California, have been, you know, even as we stand here on Ohlone territory in San Francisco, and Miwok territory. The Ohlone people, they still don't have a land base here in San Francisco. The Miwoks don't have a land base here in the Bay Area, and they do in the North Bay. But those are just two big ways that indigenous people have been oppressed. Because especially as an indigenous person, I know that a lot of our culture and a lot of our ways of being are related to, directly related to where we live and the land, and not only the land but the language of that land. The trees, like the redwood trees is kasil in our language, but they don't teach those languages in schools. They don't teach our language, the indigenous language of California in these schools, California schools. And so indigenous people have been, removed from the land, oppressed, shipped to boarding schools, and there's a long history of oppression that has caused, indigenous people to assimilate and become a part of this culture, what they call America, what they call democracy. But I know most indigenous people know that democracy ended in this land when Columbus first came, and when Cortez and the other colonizers and oppressors and rapists and murderers and slave carriers, when they first came to this country, that's when our democracy, that's when our freedom ended here, as indigenous people. And as far as our lands being stolen and our language and our culture being stolen from us, it's a legacy that continues. It doesn't end because you're native born into 2007. You think it's over? No, it's not over, because as soon as that native person comes out of the womb, they're going to be coming out to a white society, into a white-dominated society, European ideals and ideologies. And so those ideas, aren't necessarily embracing of indigenous worldviews.
Thank you. Thank you.